Throughout this series, I have been referencing something called the Structural Diagnostic. You have heard me quote from diagnostic reports, analyses that identified drift zones, flagged repetition, measured motif saturation. Some of you have asked, what exactly is this? How does it work? Is it something you can use on your own manuscript? Today, I am going to answer those questions. I am going to open up the toolkit and show you what is inside. Welcome to this bonus episode of the Architect's Method. I am Luigi Pascal Rondanini, and today we are talking about the Diagnostic Toolkit, the system I developed for interrogating manuscripts the way an engineer interrogates a system. I mentioned in episode 2 that I wear multiple hats: developer, project manager, musician, writer. Each discipline taught me something about structure, but it was the developer hat that led to the diagnostics. Here is the thing about software development. You do not just write code and hope it works. You test it. You run diagnostics. You have tools that analyze your codebase, looking for bugs, inefficiencies, patterns that indicate problems. Code linters check syntax and style. Static analyzers find potential errors before runtime. Profilers measure performance. Dependency checkers map how components connect. One day, about halfway through The Reader of the Empress, I thought, why do we not have this for manuscripts? Why do we not have tools that can scan a novel and flag structural problems, that can measure pacing, track motifs, identify repetition, that can give us a diagnostic report, not subjective feedback, but objective analysis? So I built them. The Structural Diagnostic is not one tool, it is a collection of analyses, each measuring something different. Let me walk you through the core components. Component 1. Scene Purpose Mapping. Every scene in your manuscript gets tagged with its structural purpose. Why does this scene exist? What load does it bear? The categories I use: plant, which introduces information that pays off later; payoff, which resolves something planted earlier; escalation, which raises stakes or tension; revelation, which provides new information that changes understanding; turn, which marks an act transition; character, which develops character without advancing plot; atmosphere, which establishes setting or mood. A healthy manuscript has a mix, but if too many scenes are tagged character or atmosphere without also serving another purpose, that is a drift indicator. Beautiful scenes that do not carry load. The mapping is done manually at first. You tag each scene yourself, but once tagged, patterns emerge. You can see where the escalation disappears, where plans are never paid off, where you have 5 atmosphere scenes in a row. Component 2. Word Distribution Analysis. This is quantitative. How many words in each act, each chapter, each scene? The tool parses your manuscript, looking for chapter breaks, scene breaks, structural markers, and produces a distribution report. For The Reader of the Empress, target distribution was Act 1, 15 to 20%, Act 2, 30 to 35%, Act 3, 25 to 30%, Act 4, 20 to 25%. When I ran the analysis on my drift phase manuscript, Act 2 was 47% of the total. That is a diagnostic flag. Act 2 had bloated. The ascent had gone on too long. The tool does not tell you what to do about it, but it shows you the problem in stark numerical terms. Component 3. Motif Frequency Tracking. I define my core motifs before drafting, the recurring images, words, and concepts that create thematic coherence. For The Reader of the Empress, breath, silence, mirrors, letters, ink, visibility. The diagnostic scans the manuscript and counts occurrences, but it does not just count, it maps distribution. Where do these motifs appear? How often? In what concentration? When the analysis showed breath appearing 11 times in the final 40 pages, that is saturation, the motif had been overused in a short span, losing its power through repetition. Motifs should be distributed strategically. Front-loaded introduction, spaced development, concentrated return at key moments. The frequency tracker shows whether you have achieved that or whether you have clustered them randomly. Component 4. Repetition detection. This looks for repeated phrases, repeated sentence structures, repeated ideas. Some repetition is intentional, motifs, callbacks, refrains, but much repetition is unconscious. You use the same construction 3 times in a page because it is in your muscle memory. You make the same thematic point in chapter 4 and chapter 8 because you forgot you had already made it. The detector flags these. It shows you this phrase appears 7 times in the manuscript. This sentence structure appears 23 times. This idea is stated in chapters 4, 8, 12, and 19. Then you decide, is this intentional or accidental? Does it serve the architecture or clog it? Component 5. Pacing analysis. This measures the rhythm of your prose at the paragraph and scene level. Metrics include average sentence length per scene, dialogue to narrative ratio, paragraph length distribution, scene length variation. Fast-paced scenes should have shorter sentences, more dialogue, quicker paragraphs. Contemplative scenes can have longer, more complex constructions. The pacing analysis shows whether your prose rhythm matches your intended scene energy. If you have a climactic confrontation written in long, languid paragraphs, the diagnostic flags the mismatch. Some of this is manual, tagging scenes, defining motifs, making judgment calls, but much of it is automated, and that is where my developer background came in. I wrote scripts, simple programs that parse a manuscript file and produce analysis. The word distribution tool reads a markdown or plain text file, identifies chapter headers and scene breaks, counts words in each section, and outputs a report. It took maybe an hour to write. Basic text processing. The Motif tracker takes a list of terms and scans the manuscript for occurrences, noting line numbers and surrounding context. Another simple script. Pattern matching, counting, formatting output. The repetition detector uses n-gram analysis. It breaks the text into phrases and looks for recurrences above a threshold. This one was more complex, but still straightforward for anyone with basic programming knowledge. I am not going to pretend this is sophisticated software engineering. It is not. These are utility scripts, the kind of thing a developer might write in an afternoon to solve a specific problem. But that is the point. You do not need complex tools. You need tools that answer specific questions about your manuscript. Is Act 2 too long? Where does this motif appear? What phrases am I overusing? The diagnostics are not magic. They are just structured ways of asking questions you should be asking anyway, with the advantage of automation and precision. Let me walk you through how I actually use the toolkit. A full diagnostic session on a manuscript in progress. Step 1. Export and prepare. I export the manuscript to plain text or markdown. Clean formatting. Chapter headers marked consistently. Scene breaks indicated. The scripts need parsable structure. Step 2. Run quantitative analysis. Word distribution first. How long is each section? Where am I relative to target proportions? Then motif frequency. Are my core images appearing? Where? In what concentration? Then pacing metrics. Sentence, length, averages, paragraph patterns, dialogue ratios. This produces a numerical report. Data, not interpretation. Step 3. Manual scene mapping. I go through chapter by chapter and tag each scene's purpose. This takes time, maybe an hour for a full manuscript, but it forces close reading and produces the most valuable data. Step 4. Generate the diagnostic report. I compile the findings into a single document. Quantitative data plus scene mapping plus any flags from repetition detection. The report might read, Act 2 comprises 41% of manuscript, target 30 to 35. Scene purpose mapping shows 7 consecutive scenes tagged character or atmosphere in chapters 14 through 17. Motif silence absent from Act 3 entirely. Phrase she understood appears 12 times. Pacing analysis shows average sentence length increasing 40% in final third, potentially slow in climax. Step 5. Interpret and act. The report does not tell me what to do, it tells me what is. Interpretation is my job. Act 2, too long? Probably drift. I go back to those chapters and look for what to cut. 7 atmospheric scenes in a row? Momentum problem. Something needs to happen. Silence, absent from Act 3. Thematic gap. I have dropped a key motif at a crucial moment. The diagnostic gives me targets. I do the creative work of addressing them. Let me show you a real diagnostic report, the one I ran at chapter 47 when I suspected I was drifting. Current manuscript, 73,247 words across 47 chapters. Word distribution, Act 1, chapters 1 through 5, 11,892 words, 16%. Act 2, chapters 6 through 47, 61,355 words, 84%. Act 3, not yet written. Act 4, not yet written. Assessment, severe Act 2 bloat. Current Act 2 exceeds total projected novel length. Scene purpose mapping, chapters 30 through 47, plant 2, payoff 0, escalation 3, revelation 1, turn 0, character 8, atmosphere 4. Assessment, post-skeleton drift. 67% of recent scenes lack structural load. Motif tracking, breadth 47 occurrences, healthy distribution until chapter 35, then absent. Mirror, 12 occurrences, clustered in chapters 40 through 45. Silence, 31 occurrences, oversaturated in chapters 28 through 34. Assessment, motif discipline has broken down. Clustering and absence patterns suggest loss of thematic control. Repetition flags, she understood that 9 occurrences, the weight of 11 occurrences. In that moment, 14 occurrences. Overall assessment, manuscript exhibits characteristic drift markers. Recommend return to skeleton, triage of chapters 30 through 47, identification of divergence point. That is a real report. Those numbers are what I saw when I ran the analysis, and they told me, in objective terms, what I already sensed. I was lost. The diagnostic did not fix the problem, but it confirmed it. It gave me specific targets, and it made the path to recovery clear. You do not need to be a developer to create diagnostics. You need to be systematic. Manual approaches. Scene purpose mapping can be done with a spreadsheet. Chapter in one column, scene in another, purpose tag in a third. Sort and filter to find patterns. Word counts are built into every writing application. Compile your act totals manually if needed. Motif tracking can be done with your word processor's find function. Search each motif, note the page numbers, look for clustering. Automated approaches. If you have any coding experience, even basic simple scripts can automate much of this. Python is ideal. Libraries for text processing are mature and well documented. For those without coding background, tools exist. Scrivener has built-in word count by section. Some writing applications offer basic analytics. Online text analyzers can process pasted content. The custom GPT I have made available, the Rondanini Architects method, incorporates these diagnostics. It can run the analysis, generate reports, and help interpret findings. It is one implementation of the toolkit, designed for writers who want the analysis without building the infrastructure. But the tools are less important than the mindset. The diagnostic mindset asks, what does the data say? Not what do I feel, what do I hope, what do I assume, but what does the objective evidence reveal about my manuscript structure? That mindset is available to anyone. The tools just make it easier to answer the questions. Here is what I want you to take from this episode. The structural diagnostic is not mystical, it is not genius. It is the application of systematic analysis, the same kind of analysis that exists in every technical field, to the craft of fiction. We measure what we want to improve. Athletes track times and distances. Musicians record and review. Developers run test suites. Writers can do the same. The diagnostic toolkit gives you scene purpose mapping to identify load-bearing versus decorative content, word distribution analysis to catch act imbalances, motif frequency tracking to maintain thematic discipline, repetition detection to find unconscious patterns, pacing analysis to match prose rhythm to scene energy. You can build these tools yourself, use existing software, or work with implementations like the custom GPT. The goal is the same: to see your manuscript clearly, to diagnose before symptoms become crises, to build with precision, not just intuition. Intuition matters, craft matters, the creative work is irreplaceable. But the diagnostic toolkit supports that work. It catches what intuition misses. It confirms what intuition suspects. It turns vague unease into specific, actionable problems. That is what I have been doing throughout The Reader of the Empress, and that is what the Architect's method offers you. Before you go, the Custom GPT incorporates the full diagnostic toolkit. If you want to run this analysis on your own manuscript without building the infrastructure, that is the fastest path. Link in the show notes, as always. And if you are technically inclined and want to build your own tools, I encourage it. Start simple. A word count script, a motif finder, grow from there. The next regular episode is episode 8, Drift Zones. We are going to talk about the places in a manuscript where stories lose their way, and how to recognize when your prose is drifting away from your vision. Until then, build well.